Yeah, buddy, you already know top of the top. You dig? So let me take these headphones off. I was in the process of working out, but before I get started, I just had to break down this Travis Hunter situation because it's bigger than Travis Hunter. It's a mentality of, I want to say, just inexperience and the desire of wanting to be loved or wanting to be liked, and thinking that money is gonna make people like you or love you or whatever. And it's like that's a huge that's a huge lie, that people sell themselves. Well, maybe if I do this and maybe if I become high value. But before I get into that, I gotta say a huge happy celestial birthday to an artist. He's so big in terms of just his magnitude, I can't even call him an artist. He was a producer, a writer, arranger, drummer, director, visionary. I'm speaking about none other than Mr. Maurice White of the mighty Earth, Wind and Fire. I got to share real quick Maurice White story. So I want to say early 2000 or somewhere around there. I used to work for a company, and I would always make company deposits for them, at this particular bank. And I would see a lot of celebrities there. I used to see Rosie Greer a lot. Shout out to Mr. Greer. But I would always give him his privacy. And Mr. Greer was actually really close with my uncle. Long story on that. But nevertheless, I used to see a lot of people going in and out of that bank. But I used to get geeked when every time I see Mr. Greer, I say, "Hey, there's Mr. Greer from The Thing with Two Heads." So anybody that knows about The Thing with Two Heads, man, classic. If you're into horror movies, you definitely want to check that out. I think who was in that? I think Ray Milland is in that. Or no. I'm sorry, Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr and I forgot the other cat. Oh, Raymond Burr and Rosie Greer, if I'm not mistaken. The Thing with Two Heads, great movie. Jerry Butler actually makes a cameo appearance as a security guard. I don't think they credited him in that movie towards the end because I looked for his name, but he might be credited. I have to go back and look. But yeah, Mr. Butler plays a security guard. Crazy, And there's a connection to that due to the soundtrack. I think he's on the soundtrack as well. But nevertheless, Mr. White, I saw him at my bank. I was actually leaving my bank. No, you know what? I'm getting it wrong. So he was okay. So basically, where I worked, there was sort of like a bank row. So say for instance, you have Chase over here, and you have Wells Fargo. Well, I was at at the time what used to be called what was it called before it was Wells Fargo? Before Chase. Anyhow, it'll come to me. But anyhow, I was at that bank, and Mr. White, I used to see at Wells Fargo. So I saw this cat, coming out the cold ride, and had the threads, man. That cat could dress. Let me tell you, that brother could dress, and you can tell his outfit, his fit was tailor-made, clean, like Chicago clean. He kept Chicago with him in terms of that mentality of just staying fresh and clean, man. He was just fly. Like every time I saw him, I'm like, dang, this dude, man. Like, because he didn't look like how you would see him on stage with the costumes and all that. It was like, he had the tailor-made suit, with the eel-skin boots. nasty. So it was like, wow. So as I looked closer, I was from a distance, but I saw enough. I saw that little afro. I saw, oh man, I saw the little mustache. You know how he had the mustache. You know how the old school cats had the mustache down to their chin, you know, and they didn't have the beard. They just had it. I said, that's him. You know, so I waved to him, you know, and I yelled out, and he waved back. You know, so I would always see him in and out, pulling in and out of the bank, off and on. So that was like my fond memories of seeing Mr. White. But then the last time I saw him, I used to work over in the Pacific Design Center. I used to work for an interior decorating company. This was going on, I want to say 2008, 2009, 2008, 2007, somewhere around there. And I was on my lunch break hanging out on Melrose, saw him coming out of a hat shop. I said, man, you know, same clean outfit, not the same outfit, but you know what I mean? Like he had the whole clean get down. I was like, there go Mr. White, you know? So, and I had a chance to spend time in Hollywood Studios, which is now, I think, like in events, you know, like I guess a spot where they hold like events. It's like a club or something like that, like a supper club. Crazy, you know, because there's so much history in that studio, and I was lucky to be in that studio for maybe like, I was in there before the renovation, and I want to say in around early 2000, and then right before they closed, around about 2000, I think like 14 or 15, you know, I got a special invitation for an event that they were doing with the studio. So I went down for that. Marvin Gaye recorded in there. So it's always like, every time I pass by there, I feel away. Because I'm like, man, how did you turn this into a club? This was like a legendary studio where I think Prince recorded in there. But Earth, Wind & Fire, Hollywood Studios was one of the, I think they did the I Am album out of there, if I'm not mistaken. But in addition to other albums. But nevertheless, happy celestial birthday, Mr. Maurice White. And but going on to Travis Hunter, you know, coming up to date in terms of Travis Hunter. Here's the thing, Travis Hunter suffers from what a lot of young guys in the beginning that were nerds. You know, you could tell they weren't necessarily hip or street smart, but you know, they took care of themselves and stayed in the books and were very good athletically, but they didn't necessarily have the savvy in terms of understanding their value. You know, plus you're young, nobody's thinking about value, you know, and for him it's all, to be fair, it's coming at him so fast, you know. So but the thing about it is, when you've had uncles and your dad or different people different men in your life that basically gave you some kind of heads up in terms of how to choose a woman in your life, because the thing about it is, we develop our taste early, but that, you know, when you get money and you become more high value and you have different experiences beyond where you came from, your taste evolves. Okay, so what you used to like, you know, what Dr. Umar say, fa thinking of das. You know what I'm saying? You like that once upon a time. As you get around different circles and as you evolve, fa thinking the thighs was cool, but then you start seeing some other ones like, okay, nice and petite ain't so bad, you know. This type of woman is not bad. That type of one, you start tasting different flavors, you know. It's like, okay, when you get an assortment from a candy, I don't eat candy anymore, but you know, if you got a candy box, no one wants to necessarily eat one particular flavor. You know, it's like, okay, chocolate cherries, okay, mint chip, mint julep, okay, caramel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to have an assortment of all of that, right? At least in the, you know, in your prime, especially because as time goes by, you develop your taste, and you have to give yourself enough time to develop taste. Listen, I was very fortunate to get up off the porch early in terms of girls. So I had, let's put it this way, by the time I got to middle school, or even like before then, I knew I had a type. All right. So it was like, okay, it was like I was set on that. But then as time went on, it was like, okay, like by the time I got to college, my taste advanced and it evolved. Once I got into the professional realm, it was like, oh, okay, I see. So with Travis, he has to give himself time to grow and not be so quick to jump into a long-term relationship, because the thing about it is, if she was like his day one that was rocking with him before he got into sports or whatever, and I could see, okay, damn, they're really down for each other. She really likes him, he really likes her. But she got on board at once, I get, from what I understand, after she found out he had some type of status, so it's like, okay, you basically jumping on the bandwagon, because the man is high value and you're looking for a come up, so it's like, you got to be careful of that, as you're moving up in the world and you're growing, because in the beginning, any woman that you talk to is going to look attractive to you because they're giving you attention, and it's like, that's not how it's supposed to be. As you evolve, you're going to have different women coming to you. You don't have to go to them. That's right, to you. You don't have to get up off the chair, and they're going to be all over the place. Here's the plot twist. You're going to have to, like I said in another video, you're going to have to push them off, because I would say 2 out of 10, that 8 is not going to be right for you. It's going to narrow down to those 2. And you got to be careful and use some type of discernment. Don't just fall into something because, somebody gave you some attention, because, geez Louise, it is what it is. But nevertheless, you don't want to jump into something just because somebody, gives you attention. If she wasn't checking for you before your status and before your money, she genuinely doesn't like you. She's settling for you because it pays, so versus a woman that's genuinely because here's the thing. When you're young, you don't know about choosing signals. Okay. And choosing, well, guys who've been around the block, we know about choosing signals very early. But guys who are non-select or nerds, they don't know anything about choosing signals. Okay, so if that woman is attractive, and don't let it be a 8 or a 10, you know what I'm saying, and she's checking for you, it's like, and she don't know about your status, she really does genuinely like you. And but the thing about it is, if you're settling for, I guess a 5 or 4, and I'm being generous, it's like, and she gives you attention, you feel like, oh, she really likes me, she's really, and it's like, dogs, she's just on the bandwagon. She really don't like you. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have it going on, chances are that same person wouldn't check for you. So the thing about it is, you got to be careful, because there are 2 types of women. Well, I would say maybe 3 types of women. The first one is the one that basically is checking for you, and she doesn't know anything about you. She's just going by physical status. Okay. And she basically genuinely is choosing. She's giving you what we call choosing signals. There may be something about you that she likes and is attracted to, and if that you're gonna know it, you're gonna feel it when they choosing. Okay, so the second one is the one where it's like, okay, you two hit it off or whatever, but it's a situation where it's basically she's settling.
Oh, that's right.
And when I say she's settling for you, she may have a boyfriend or something, or some other stuff happening in the background, and you're not the focal point. You know, you're not the main focal point that she's concentrating on, you know, because she got this ex-boyfriend, she got this and that, whoop wham and all that in the background. She's not focused on you. So what she's doing is, while she's getting over him, and she got all these other dudes and orbiters and so forth, she gonna keep you to the back burner. She's gonna keep you to the side. Okay, so she's basically, you know, she's gonna feed you scraps. She's feeding you scraps, you know, to where, okay, you're interested enough to where she sells you a dream, and, you know, she got you thinking, you know, you're that dude when you really aren't. When all these other dudes are in the background, these orbiters, ex-boyfriend over here, it's just like, nah, she's just basically using you as a placeholder. You never ever want that. And then you got the third type. Well, there's 4 types. I'm gonna break it down. You got the third type is like, okay, she sees what you got and your potential, but she wasn't checking for you before that. Okay, so with that, basically she's just using you for social position in life or economic stability. So that's kind of clear as day. The fourth one is the one that you really, really rocking with. You know what I'm saying? She's giving you choosing signals, everything. But she's so cold. She's in a certain status in life and you're grinding. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you got to pump the brakes, because she's gonna, you know, it's gonna interrupt your grind if you invest in her. You know, but the thing about it is, it's like she's one of the ones where it's like, I call those every blue moon. You know what I'm saying? Like, if like she's like, she could be the one, but you're not gonna waste her time, you know, because it's like, look, you trying to get to a certain status in terms of your grind, and it's just y'all met at a wrong time. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually torture, you know, because she cold with it. She doing, you know, she's handling her business and you're handling yours, but you don't want to interrupt your groove in terms of your grind. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just bad timing, you know. And those are the cold ones. Those are the coldest ones. And it's torture because you like, damn, you know, once I get this bag up, man, look, you know what I'm saying? But that's once in a blue moon, you know what I mean? So as far as Travis, man, you basically it's not so much about Travis. It's just about men understanding their value and knowing their value. And it's the thing about it is, once you travel and you gain life experience and you understand who you are in the equation, the conversation shifts tremendously. And I think for young Travis, he has a lot to learn. You know, he's very green, he's very naive, and everybody's trying to give him warning signals and saying, hey man, you may want to weigh this out. But he, you know, when you're that young, you're bullheaded, you have your mind set up. And the thing about it is, at least weigh your options before you make that a final option. Because like I said, it goes back to that, the fourth choice. As far as women, you'll have that one that sees, you know, she's trying to be down, but it's like, you know, like you wasn't down when I was practicing, when I was starving. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, it's like, you gotta know who you are in the situation. You know, and she show you a little attention, you all giddy and you fighting everybody that's trying to tell you, hey man, get out of there. That's not a good look for you. That train is going to hit you. But that train is so beautiful. She's, oh my God, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? When you get to your status and that money clock in, you're going to be able to have thousands of them. Like I said in the last video, don't settle. You know, taste life a little bit, because as you get money and you acquire a certain lifestyle, your taste is going to change. I don't care where you're from in life, okay? And the thing about it is, as you advance and you move up, your taste will evolve. So you're gonna go back and look at these moments and say, damn, I was tripping on her. What was I thinking? But you weren't as evolved then. You were at a certain stage in your life. But as you travel and you move in different circles, you're gonna meet different types of women. That's part of life. That's part of what we call the game, but you gotta know who you are in that situation and know what you want, and better yet, know what you deserve. Okay. And on that note, I'm gonna bid you adieu, and know your options, and invest in yourself. Keep it moving.